Oh boy, we are back again to talk about the highly anticipated Samsung Galaxy Watch Ultra. If you've been watching my channel at all, about a week ago I posted a video about this watch and my initial impressions on what it looked like. And a lot of you really did not like my opinion on this watch. And just to get that out there, it's my opinion. It doesn't mean it has to be your opinion. It was just my opinion at the time, and when they announced this watch, when I first saw it with my own eyes, I couldn't help to think to myself, that thing is kind of ugly. Now, even though I did criticize this watch at the time of launch for being less than attractive in my opinion, I bought one. I went out to my local Best Buy store with my own money and purchased this watch to open it on this channel to get my first impressions in real life instead of just looking at all of the marketing photos. Because I have a sneaking suspicion that the marketing photos just don't do this watch justice. So in this video today, we're gonna crack this box open. I have not even opened it yet. It's been sitting up here on my desk and I've been itching to open it up, but I needed to record it so you get my sort of first initial reaction to this thing when I first see it with my own eyes. And of course, we will set it up with my phone here and see what it's all about, get a first look at how it all works. This is not an overly in-depth review or anything like that, just unboxing and first look and that sort of thing. A full in-depth review will be coming down the road, so if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe to the channel down below so you don't miss that when it eventually comes out. With all that out of the way, let's get right to the point of this video. I've got the Samsung Galaxy Watch Ultra here. I did purchase the orange and black titanium version just because I thought that was the most appealing in my opinion. There's a lot of other versions out there. Fun fact, when I did purchase this watch from Best Buy, they actually did include an additional band for free. I didn't have to pay for it, and it was the black version of the trail band, which is included in the box here. Unfortunately, it was not in stock yet. I have to wait to get that, and I also have to wait to get my Galaxy ring. I'm still wearing the Oura ring here, but I did order a Galaxy ring that was also back ordered, so stay tuned for that as well. Let's go ahead and rip off those pull tabs now. I put it right up to the microphone. Was that satisfying? And we're gonna lift off the top of the box. I'm not ready for it. Hang on, let me collect myself. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Ah, what a letdown. There's internal packaging. So there's internal boxes for both, looks like the watch itself and then the band separately. And this is pretty much exactly how Apple did this as well with the Apple Watch Ultra and the Ultra 2. There's a box for the watch and the band too. So I want to get to the point of this video and just get right to the watch. I'm going to tear off these tabs on the back here. Okay, now, moment of truth. Let's crack this box open and woo! Wow, it is a nice looking watch and it is, I don't know, just nicely designed. Like it looks like they put a lot of thought and engineering into it. Again, the squircle thing, not crazy about it, just because these body parts that kind of stick out from the screen just feel like wasted real estate to me. Like why not just make a square display and get more display on the body you're already making, but that's just my opinion. And yeah, I do understand they probably have to like redesign the user interface to be square instead of round because all Galaxy watches are round, but that seems like something they could figure out. Anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's get the band out of the box here. So this is the trail band here. And interestingly enough, this looks exactly like the Apple Ocean Band. Hang on, I have an Apple Ocean Band around here somewhere. So up at the top here, I've got the Apple Ocean Band. And as you can see, it's got like perforation holes through it. And this one was mainly designed for swimming and diving and things like that. And this is the new Samsung Galaxy Watch Trail Band. And I find it kind of funny that Apple calls this the Ocean Band made for swimming, and Samsung's calling this their Trail Band made for like hiking and outdoor explorations when they're like the same band. It's kind of funny that each company made them specific for different activities. It's almost like Samsung made this band and it's so similar that they were just like, it's a trail band. It's not made for swimming or something like that to differentiate themselves, but it is what it is. So the band attachment for the Galaxy Watch Ultra is pretty different. It doesn't like slide in from the side like an Apple Watch. This just goes directly in and you kind of click it into place. And I actually do like that quite a bit. It's really easy. It feels really secure. And to pop it off, there's just a button underneath. You push that and it pops right out. And there's a really nice satisfying click when you put it into place. I'm gonna put the other side on now and click that into place, and there you go. That is the Galaxy Watch Ultra. And again, I was kind of harsh on this watch. It does look kind of cool in person. And as you can see here, the charger also looks eerily similar to an Apple Watch charger. In fact, I wonder if we can use an Apple Watch charger. For the sake of science, let's go ahead and get my giant battery bank that's completely overkill for a watch. Plug in my USB Type-C there, and let's see if the Apple Watch charger will work on the Samsung Watch, just out of curiosity. It does feel like the poles are actually opposite on the Galaxy Watch Ultra compared to an Apple Watch, so it won't line up. I can't even make it. You can see how it's kind of fighting itself there. So nope. So let's go ahead and boot up the watch for the very first time. You can see we've got the Samsung logo there. And while it's booting up, let's just take a closer look around the hardware. So again, we do have that squircle design around the front there. Love it or hate it, it is what it is. Flipping it off to the right here, we've got a top button with a orangish accent. We've got the, I forget what they call this middle button. It's kind of like the action button, the ready button, something like that, to do various actions. And then you've got a lower button here. Flipping around to the other side, you've got some openings, which I assume are for the speaker and microphone on board this watch. Flipping the watch over to the back here, we do have the optical heart rate sensor, which is claimed to be new and improved. And at first glance, again, it looks eerily similar to the Apple Watch heart rate sensor. I mean, these two are nearly identical, but apparently this one is a little bit different, and it does have a new AI algorithm built into it to try to eliminate like erroneous heart rate rhythms. Now jumping over to my phone for a second, because I do have a Samsung Galaxy phone, you can see right when I open up the watch and boot it up, I get a little dialogue asking me to connect my Galaxy Watch Ultra to my phone, which is super cool. This is a very, seamless experience. It's very Apple-esque. It's all in the ecosystem. Pretty cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and click connect. So after pressing connect, you get a little dialogue confirming the number is correct on both devices. I'll click confirm. And now it looks like we're gonna go through a software update that I won't bore you with. So while the watch is updating, let's just compare the Galaxy Watch Ultra to the Apple Watch Ultra 2, because despite what you say, there are a lot of similarities here, from the shape to the design to the aesthetic. It's all very similar. Now, personally, I don't really care if Samsung copied Apple, because realistically, Apple copied Samsung several times before and no one really complained about it. I mean, even the word Ultra in the title with the Galaxy Watch Ultra is not really copying Apple, because back in the day they had a Galaxy Watch Ultra, then they stopped making it for a while, and now they're back with a Watch Ultra. So we can't really complain about that either. And realistically, at the end of the day, I think the consumer is winning here, because if you were an Android user with a Samsung phone and you really wanted an Apple Watch Ultra, you like the idea behind this thing, the battery life, the specs, now you have that ability on the Samsung and Android platform with the Galaxy Watch Ultra. All right, looks like our software updated. I just need to agree and sign my life away to all these different terms and conditions. We'll click continue. So now I just want to see what this watch looks like on my wrist. So just for context, I do have 165 millimeter circumference wrists, and this is what the Galaxy Watch Ultra looks like on my somewhat dainty wrist. So there's the watch on my wrist, and as you can see, the band that's included in the box is a little bit big for me. I would have preferred this edge to be maybe somewhere back here, so when I stare at the watch, I'm not seeing a big chunk of the material at the top there, but it is what it is. If you do have bigger wrists, this will not be an issue. If you have smaller wrists, that will be an issue, but again, there are a lot of different bands to choose from here. The band itself, though, I do quite like. I do like the metal hardware for the clasp here. It does feel really high quality, and the band keeper, the little sliding mechanism here, is really nice because it's got some friction to it. It doesn't just slide around, so you can kind of position it where you want, and then it's not going to move from that position. So if you want to keep it in one spot, I'm having a hard time showing this on camera, you can kind of lock it in place between the ridges of the band, and then you just kind of feed the band through it, and it feels really secure. Like that's not going anywhere. So Samsung calls this central button here the quick button and not the action button, but it's kind of funny that they say select an action for your quick button. So you can select an action for your action or an action for your quick button. Interestingly enough, there's also a double tap option on the Galaxy Watch Ultra. Again, very similar to the Apple Watch Ultra, where if you tap your fingers together, you can control various aspects of the watch. And it looks like we did it. It says you're all set on the watch, so I can actually use this thing. I gotta be honest, that setup process took a while. That was probably like 10 minutes, I think. But now we are in. We've got the Galaxy Watch Ultra starting up. It says starting on the screen. It shows the battery percentage on my phone, what apps I have installed and everything. I've got Find My Watch. And I can also configure my watch face from within this app. I can customize the watch face that's included, or I can pick another one that they have down below. And there's quite a few to pick from. So that's really it in terms of the phone setup. So I'm gonna put my phone aside for a second and let's take a closer look at the watch. So right up front, we've got that beautiful display, and this display does boost up to 3000 nits of brightness, which is incredibly bright. It's overkill for just about any application, and it's the same spec that the Apple Watch Ultra has. So spec for spec, these two are very similar. So the Galaxy Watch Ultra does not have that rotating bezel that we saw in the past on Samsung devices. A lot of people seem to like that. Personally, for me, I could take it or leave it. In fact, I feel like that moving additional part is another point of something breaking. And that's because this watch is waterproof down to 10 atmospheres, which means you can dive pretty deep with it. And I feel like that additional moving component doesn't lend itself to that kind of durability. But we do have a sapphire display on here, and even though you don't have that rotating bezel, you can slide your finger around the perimeter of the bezel here, just like this, and use that as a way to scroll around the interface. And it does work really well, and it's super, super smooth. The responsiveness and everything is really fast on this watch. So looking around the user interface, we do have the sort of app drawer here where you'll find your text messages and all of your apps and everything in between, along with the Google Play Store where you can download additional apps to your watch. The cool thing about the watch face is you can tap any of these individual widgets. For example, if I tap the weather here, that'll bring up my weather app. Swiping to the right from the home screen brings you through the different tiles or the different widgets. So you've got your daily activity, you can add your favorite workouts here. You can jump directly into a workout. You've got your energy score here. This is new with the Galaxy Watch Ultra. And this is a form of sort of quantifying how much energy you have left in your day. So you know if you're feeling tired and drained and you look at this and it shows like 10%, that makes sense. This is pretty similar to a lot of other interfaces out there, like Garmin's Body Battery or the Oura Ring with its readiness score. They're all kind of the same, and they're basing that measurement off a bunch of different variables like heart rate and HRV. Scrolling over again, we've got our daily summary widget there. We've got our weather widget, and I can add my location, my calendar widget here. Then we've got a really handy widget that shows the battery life on both my watch here on the left and my paired phone on the right. Swiping over again jumps into the ECG app where you can take an electrocardiogram on the fly and get your accurate heart rate measurement. And the last thing here is a little section where you can add additional tiles. I can tap on that, and this will bring me through a whole list of other things that I can add to my home screen here, which is pretty cool. So like I said before, we do have that quick button on the side of the watch here, and I've set mine up for exercising. So if I want to go ahead and press that, it'll jump right into my exercise app, or I can choose what I want to do. So if I wanted to go for a run here, I can tap on that. And now it shows me how I can use that quick button in my workout. So if I tap it once, it will pause it, and then I'd be able to swipe over and end the workout if I want to. So that's a quick run through of the Samsung Galaxy Watch Ultra and what it looks like and feels like and how it works. Now comes the big question. Do I still think this watch is ugly? Well, to be honest, it's still not my favorite design. Like, I still would prefer a square design or a round design. Like, just pick one or the other. But I will say in person, it does look much better than it did in the marketing photos and the renderings that I saw before. So I would say if you were like me and you didn't love the design of this watch initially when they announced it, maybe give it a chance. Go stop by a local store and see it in person because you might change your mind. And in this darker color, I do kind of like the look of it. And I do feel like wearing this on my wrist for a while, it might grow on me. So no, I don't hate the design, but also no, I don't love the design. I'm sort of somewhere in between. The other thing I noticed about this watch, just wearing it briefly, it does feel bigger than the Apple Watch Ultra, and I don't really know why. I can't really explain it because the specs of both these watches are very similar. Like the weight and the size and everything are nearly identical, but for whatever reason, this one just feels a little bit more hefty and beefy, and maybe it's because it's slightly wider than the Apple Watch Ultra, even though the Apple Watch Ultra is a little bit taller. But realistically, they both feel pretty similar, and if you do have smaller wrists, I would try this out in person before purchasing one because these are larger watches. Anyways, this was just a quick video to get this thing out of the box and on my wrist. I just want to share my initial reaction with you so you can kind of see where I'm coming from and what I think about it so far. Now, the next phase for me will be in-depth testing about this watch. I'll be doing GPS accuracy, heart rate accuracy, all of the different wellness metrics like that new energy score. I'll be testing all of that stuff in depth in the coming weeks. So make sure to go down and hit that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up while you're down there so you don't miss my in-depth review that will be coming in the very near future. And of course, as always, while you're down there, check out all the other links in the description down below. Those will be links over to the Galaxy Watch Ultra that you can find on Amazon or the Apple Watch Ultra 2 here. Those links do help support this channel. They cost nothing extra to you. And below those, you also find links over to my other social media accounts like my Instagram, my Threads, my podcast that I try to do on a regular basis, and even my website where you can go over and buy a sweet hat like this. And with that, we've reached the end of this video, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you very soon with an in-depth review of the Samsung Galaxy Watch Ultra. Okay? All right, bye.